In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily play a 3-octave scale on the violin. Now for today's video, I'm just going to play a G major scale because I think it's probably the easiest 3-octave scale that you can learn on the violin. Now if you're somewhat new to shifting on the violin, then the G major scale is a great way to start learning your 3-octave scales because it is the simplest 3-octave scale that you can play. Now remember, learning your scales on the violin is a great thing because it's a great way to warm up every time you get your violin out. And it's also a great way to teach your fingers where to go so you'll play a lot more in tune. So let's get to it. Now first of all, here's what a 3-octave G major scale sounds like. Now you'll notice that I shifted twice. So I shifted to 3rd position on the A, and then I shifted up to 4th position on the E. Here it is again. So again, that's 3 octaves, right? So 3 octaves just means it's 3 sets of 8 notes. So 1 octave is just 8 notes. So you're obviously repeating, a series of notes 3 times. Now, it's really important that you pay attention to the particular finger pattern that I'm playing, because when you practice the scale, it's very important to always use the same finger pattern. And it's also very important to remember to use the same notes per bow as well. So when you're first learning the scale, you will probably want to just use 1 note per bow. But as you get better and better at it, then you want to increase the amounts of notes that you put in every bow. But it's important that while you're practicing, you choose how many notes to put in a bow and you stick to it. Okay, so I'm going to show you that finger pattern one more time, except this time I'm going to stop and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. And then we'll talk about the shifting. Okay, so you start on the open G, obviously. Now I'm using 4th finger instead of open. It's not necessary, but I always use 4th finger usually when I'm warming up with my scales, because when you use the 4th finger, not only are you making it stronger, but you're also stretching out your hand, which is going to help you warm up. 1. Now you're in 1st position on the A. You're going to shift to 1st finger in 3rd position on the A. So here's that shift to 1st finger, right? Now that 1st finger is the same as 3rd finger in 1st position. So, right? Good. Now I'm going to continue up to the E string. Now I'm going to shift to 1. That's your 4th position. Then continue up. Then extended 4th. Then back down to 2 in 3rd position. To the A. To 2 in 1st position on the A. And then back down the scale. Okay, so let's do that again in slow motion, and then I'll talk about the shifting a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to shift to 1. Remember, that's going to be the same sound as our 3rd finger in 1st position. I'll actually turn this way so you can see a little bit better. So we're going to shift to 1st finger. Then continue to the E. Now we're going to play 1st finger in 3rd position, which is our 4th position, which is the same as 3rd finger in 3rd position. So then continue, then extend. Now it's really important when you're here to remember to keep your fingers down. Do not pick, by all means, do not pick your fingers up. So don't do this. Or never ever do that for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's inefficient. Number two, it ruins the shape of your hand, and it ruins your consistency. But also, you're going back down the scale. So you want to make sure you keep your fingers down. If you do that, then you don't have to find them again when you go down the scale. Keep them down, then to 2 in third position. And that 2 is the same thing as fourth finger in first position, by the way. So, to the A, then 2. Okay, so here's the scale again, but a little bit faster. So, shift to 1, shift to 1, keep those fingers down, extend, keep those fingers down, 2 in third position, A, 2 in first position, remember it's a low 2, so, shift, right? And then as you get better at it, then you can add notes per bow. So you can do like 3, 4, or 6. And then of course you can do it all the way to 24 all the way up and then 24 all the way down. Okay, so that's the scale. So now let's talk about the shifting a little bit. Now the shifting is really important, okay? There's just 3 simple rules that you want to remember about shifting, okay? So number 1 is make sure that you do not bend your wrist. Number 2, make sure that your thumb moves with your first finger, okay? Your first finger and your thumb are best buddies. They don't leave each other. So move the thumb with the first finger. The third rule, which we already talked about a little bit, is to keep those fingers down. Okay, so let's talk about the rules a little bit. Okay, so the first rule is you want to make sure that you do not bend your wrist, right? So when you shift, it's important that you keep the shape of your hand. Do not change the shape of your hand by moving that wrist around. Okay, so you want to keep that wrist nice and straight. So, right? Okay, so the other rule is you want to make sure that you move your thumb with your first finger, okay? So you might get into a bad habit of shifting your first finger up and then moving your thumb up or something like that, some weird kind of combination. These 2 fingers need to stick together for efficiency and consistency. So, right? So make sure that those move always together. Very important. Now, the other thing we already talked about is to keep those fingers down because it's more efficient. It'll help you with your consistency. And it's very, very helpful when you're going back down the scale if your fingers are already down. So keep those fingers down. Okay? So if you remember those 3 rules, then the scale will be a lot easier. So like I was pointing out before, as you get better with the scale, then you want to add notes per bow. But it's remember those 2 things. Always play the same finger pattern. Don't just change it up. Learn a finger pattern, stick to that finger pattern for that scale, And every time you practice it, decide how many notes are going to be in your bow, and always make sure you always have those notes in your bow. Could be 1 note per bow, 2 notes per bow, 3 notes per bow, 4 notes per bow. You can even do 5, 6, 8, 12, 24. But make sure you know, and you're very, very consistent with that. So guys, I hope this video helped. Hey, if you have some questions, because hey, there's a lot of questions you could have, just put them down in the description, the notes, what do they call it? The comment section below. Just put them down there in the comment section. I'll probably answer them. If you have any ideas for any other videos, hey, let me know. I've already been receiving some ideas lately, so I'm gonna be working on those videos for those ideas. Is there any pieces that you want me to teach you how to play? Perhaps I could help you with some pieces. Just let me know, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that alert bell so you get notification. And always remember, here at Kennedy Violins, we are players and teachers. So if you do have any questions or comments about anything, you can always contact us at KV as well and let us know. So have a great day, guys.